Hello. Hey, everybody. Great to see everybody over there in the chat. Hello to you and hello to all the members of the channel. Thank you so much for being here. If you do want to join and get a membership on the channel, there is a link down below in the description of this video in case you can't see that join button that's also up top. Okay, I'm Natalie. This is Scientology Life After a Cult, where we recap the Scientology news that has the internet buzzing. And I share with you my 35 years in Scientology, what it was like growing up in Scientology, and most important, leaving with 3 generations of my family. You're also going to catch me doing interviews of people in this community, in the ex-Scientology community, with people who are protesting, people who are live streaming. So when you do hit that subscribe button, make sure to set that notification bell, because I will be jumping in doing interviews at different time of the day. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it as well. If you like the video on your way in, which can help us get out some notifications. And I want to say thank you so much to my mods. I love the weekends because it's when we can all be here together. Dip Me in Glitter is here. Nancy is here. And of course, my Tony is here. So as per usual, if you have questions, put the word question in all caps in front of it and have your question follow so we can try and keep track and answer as many questions as we can, because I think there's going to be a lot of questions today. Oh, and also I just wanted to remind you, in the description of the video is a link to the change.org petition on Scientology tax exempt status. So take a little look at that and sign it if you have not already. We, of course, are going to be talking about Scientology protesting news and some very interesting conversations between Scientologists and protesters that just continue to come out. We're going to peek at protests from around the country. There's some new horn tech being implemented in Denver. We are going to talk more about Mike Rinder's interview with Jon Atack. There has been much more discussion about it. We're going to look at some other points of views and reactions from other creators here in the community and see what they have to say. And we're going to do a little bit of a deeper dive into one of the concepts that came up in that video that kind of has people really talking. It is probably the point that maybe it's what do you call it? A sticky widget? A sticky something? There's a phrase for that. Tell me in the comments. Tell me in the chat. What is it? Is it a widget? Is it a sticky widget? I feel like I'm getting that saying wrong, but you know what I mean. There's multiple points in this interview that came out with Mike Rinder and Jon Atack, but there's been a few real specific ones that people have been sending me clips of, and sounds like they want to do a deeper dive into to help understand maybe this mindset. So we are going to do that as well. So hey, Sticky Wicket, thank you, CB, the Peace Lady, Burning Earth Citizen, thank you. Yes, Lavender Bridges, Sticky Wicket, that's right. I knew it was something. I just love having a live chat. I don't know that I'd ever, well, don't say never, right? But I just love doing the videos live. Okay, so we're going to take a look at a clip, I should say, from someone out of Seattle. Her name is Victoria Palmer, and I actually knew Vicky, and I haven't talked to her in ages, but we left Scientology close to the same time, I believe. But Vicky continued to practice Scientology outside of the Church of Scientology. But here's the really interesting thing. She is trying to reconnect with her brother, who was in the Sea Organization at Flag and is still in Scientology. We're going to watch a little snippet of this video where she actually goes to his house to try and reconnect with him after years. And link down below to the full video and all the videos we're going to be talking about, because the story with her brother, and those of you who are ex-Scientologists here or under the radar Scientologists, you may know the brother. You may know him. I know I remembered him from being security out front at the Flag Land Base, and he was very friendly and welcoming. Nothing like what it is today. So her whole video is not very long at all, but I love that she's trying to make this reconnection, and she's bringing awareness to the destruction that the disconnection policy within Scientology has. And as far as I'm concerned, we cannot talk about that enough. Days by Dogs, thank you so much for becoming a member of the channel. Hip, hip, hooray to you. Thank you so much for that. So let's take a look at this. Let's take a look. Danner Hoverson. That's the name of her brother. And like I said, if you've been in Scientology or you're a little under the radar, 1 foot out the door Scientologist, but you've been to the Flagland base, you may be familiar with who he is. Check it out.
I've really been disconnected from him since I was 19 years old. That's when he joined the Sea Org. And that was over 30 years ago. Because when someone joins the Sea Org, you're lucky to hear from them 1 time a year. And so it's been quite a while. So my brother, his name is Danner Hoverson.
So go ahead and watch the whole video because she goes up to the door. Spoil alert, he does not answer the door. I think you pretty much could assume that. But the whole story, because this guy was in the Sea Organization. And like she was saying, you don't normally, you don't hear from people, you don't hear from family in the Sea Org. It's very much not uncommon. And then after several years, around 2006 or so, I believe he blew from the Sea Organization. He left. And I don't recall if he was declared a suppressive person or he was just given, not in good standing with Scientology kind of status. But Vicky and her family helped him get back into the good graces of Scientology. So it's so ironic. And then just a few years after that, her family, her mother left Scientology, but he still remained. And now he is disconnected from his family, who is now out of Scientology. It's completely heartbreaking, but it just needs to be continued to be shared and shouted from the rooftops. Scientology disconnection destroys families. And if they're so confident about their technology and their ability to help people communicate, call me crazy, but I don't know, maybe let people communicate. But we know that is not going to happen. So let's take a look. We've shared quite a few clips from YOUTOLOGY. YOUTOLOGY does these mashups of different videos by different creators here on YouTube. And YOUTOLOGY did one with one of my favorites, and I think she's a favorite of yours, Pearlsnappy. Pearlsnappy. So you got to check this out.
Hip hip, go away! Going to your cult, slap your ass. If you're going to the cult, slap your ass. If you're going to the cult and you're a real stupid idiot, if you're going to the cult, slap your ass.
You don't have anything.
Somebody from OSA has to watch this video and explain this to Dave, to little Davey.
So that is her she's got this pink Barbie Jeep, right, that she has when she's protesting. And it gets driven around, and it is the most absolutely amazing thing ever. But it does have a little David Miscavige in there. And is the other doll, tell me in the chat, is that a Mike Rinder doll? It looked like it, but I wasn't positive. Tell me in the comments as well, in case you are watching this on the replay. But I love that. And if you did not see, we shared a clip the other day of a video where that, slap your butt thing comes from. And it was a Scientologist walking into the Austin organization. So that is Pearlsnappy. And that's a kind of a mashup video done by YOUTOLOGY. You can watch the whole thing. I got the link down below. There would be links in the chat, except I sent Nancy the links for the wrong day. So they are all down below. All right, let's go over to Los Angeles, to California, where a creator here on YouTube, Sassafras 0808, had a run-in and discussion with a Scientologist in Scientology for 55 years, in the Sea Organization for 50 years. I thought she looked a little familiar. I did. But let's take a look at this interaction. It was very interesting to me. It was really interesting to me that she spoke to her for as long as she did, which is kind of quick, but in the grand scheme of how they're not allowed to communicate, this Sea Org member did. Check it out.
Okay. Oh, here's a Kia right here. 9JTL0.
We're going to...
Really? You guys go on YouTube.
Hold on.
It flipped a fucking bitch and took off fast. Didn't it? Oh, no, maybe not.
She's going to run into the Sea Org member right when she gets to the end of the street.
Oh, here it is. It was not the BMW. Can't tell if someone's in it. That looks like, what's his name's? Oh, here's one right here. Dark, blacked out, black. What are you looking at, fool? He's got blacked out windows. Uh-huh. How long have you guys been in?
55 years.
Really?
Yeah.
You guys know about all the drama that's going on with
Oh,
Scientology? What do you guys think about that?
We're doing so much good that people can't handle it. Exactly.
You
We gotta
know,
stop it.
So when she asked her, what do you think about the drama that's going on with Scientology? She says, we're doing so much good that people can't stand it. And this comes directly from L. Ron Hubbard, who said that when the squirrels are screaming, right, when the suppressives are going crazy and making all kinds of noise, in other words, when people are calling out Scientology on the fact that they are a human trafficking cult, that means we are winning. This is what L. Ron Hubbard said. This is what the flock believes, right? So this is what is told to Scientologists. Of course, there's protesters. Of course, there's suppressive people out there on YouTube doing all this. It's because we're winning. Interesting way of winning.
I think that there's a lot of people would think otherwise, you know, because of the children trafficking and all that. You hear all about
I'm
it.
sorry, but that is such bullshit.
Really?
I'm going, where does this come from? Because it is
The child trafficking situation?
total.
You think it's bullshit? What makes you think that? Yeah, I put a phone number there for the
Because I
Aftermath
worked for him for
Foundation.
50 years and I know what happens.
50 years.
Yeah.
So how do you explain people like Phil Anderson that's still locked in there and he's an elder that's being abused, or like Serge Del Mar or Laura Anderson?
Did you hear her ask? She goes, Phil Anderson? It sounds like she knows Phil Anderson. I thought that was interesting. Meanwhile, the other Scientologist, possibly a Sea Org member, not sure, sees on the back of her car something that identifies Sassafras as a protester. I think it's the phone number for the Aftermath Foundation.
They were all in the Sea Org and they escaped out of the Sea Org and they've broken them up from their families and they separate them from their families. They stole their passports, they traffic them, make them do hard labor,
That
pay
is
no
such
money.
bullshit.
But no, they're in it,
I
man.
gotta go because I got a meeting. But
You're so very nice for stopping to talk to me. Do me a favor, please. Look, do you ever go on YouTube?
yeah,
Just go on YouTube and search Scientology.
I've seen all that crap.
Look for Laura FM or Serge, at literally Serge. He was in the Sea Org for years. He was high at literally Serge or Laura FM. Laura FM or at literally
I
Serge.
don't need to see
They
it.
were Sea Org members, man, for years. They were born into it, born and raised into it.
I've
And
been a
so,
Sea Org member for 50 years.
right. So
I'm
then
very
you know
aware.
what's going on.
I do know what's going on.
I appreciate you talking to me. I
Okay.
really do, but I really, please just look into it. Just look at their side of things, because I don't believe they
You know, she's trying to be nice. It's just so interesting to me how she reacted to that, because she seemed to be surprised. Like, what do you mean? Phil Anderson is fine. She didn't say that. It just really sounded like she knew who that was. And didn't she say, I've seen all that crap? Did I hear that wrong? You guys tell me in the chat. Tell me in the comments. Did she say, I've seen all that crap? Really? That's interesting, because what you doing on YouTube? Didn't you just say you're in the Sea Org for 50 years? Are you still in the Sea Org, or were you still in the Sea Org and now you're out? I don't know. But that woman's going to get in big trouble when that gets seen by Scientology. Either that or, you know, there's no either that. She's going to get in big trouble when that is seen by Scientology. What do you mean you're watching all that? And here's the other thing that we talk about a lot on the channel is most Scientologists do not know that they are in a cult, and they do not recognize what we now what we see and what is abusive in Scientology as abuse. Because L. Ron Hubbard said it's the way to conduct yourself. It's the way to handle people. It's the way to save people. And I know this because in my 35 years in Scientology, I didn't know a lot of what happened was abuse. I didn't recognize that I was trafficked as a teenager. There's so much I did not see, not just when I left either. When I left, of course, I realized a lot of it. It took me years. And there are still moments here on YouTube where I'll be talking to somebody about something, or talking with you guys, sharing right here, and it'll hit me like, oh my gosh, that thing that happened to me was also culty, abusive, and not okay. So when she says that all that is BS, she's telling the truth. She really believes it because she may be aware of some of the things that was done to Sea Org members and to children in the Sea organization, but she doesn't recognize it as abuse. She thinks it's just part of it. It's normalized. When you normalize abuse, when you normalize it, you think it's normal. It's not odd. It's not the weird thing anymore. It's not something that you were going to seek to change. That's why we get that reaction so much from Scientologists that, well, no, none of that's true. If you've been in Scientology any length of time, you are aware of some of these things. You just see it differently because of the mind control and the lens that you are forced to look at it through. But if they hear it over and over again, more and more, and this message gets out in multiple different ways on different platforms, and it shows up in their feed, which if that lady is on YouTube, should be hitting her algorithm some Scientology content. And I think there are way more creators sharing the truth about Scientology than Scientologists themselves. So it's always interesting to see the brainwashing is so strong, so strong. And just a reminder, everybody, please hit that like button for the video. We're going to go over now to Confident Chris and his stream where he, Jessica PALMADESSA, Danny, I think Leo was there, and others crashed the L. Ron Hubbard birthday event that was held, as far as I can tell, in a mall parking lot. I thought that was interesting. So let's just pop in, take a little look. It was all blocked off. So they were quite a ways away. And I want to thank Misty Squirrel Squad. Thank you so much for becoming a member of the channel. Hip, hip, hooray. And a big hip, hip, hooray for Ba Black Sheep Never In. Love the name. Thank you for becoming a member. Okay, check this out, you guys. This is Erwan Hubbard's birthday event in Los Angeles in a mall parking lot.
What are we looking at? This freaking car. Like, what the hell is he doing over here? There's no cars around here if you didn't realize. The mall closed at 9. Oh my god. Really? Nah, guys, but some things stay open though. Like the theaters stay open. I just get some popcorn for dinner. What are we looking at? This freaking car. Like, what the hell is he doing over here? There's no cars around here if you didn't realize. The mall closed at 9. Oh my.
Isn't it, you can see right where they have, like, they do, they got their fancy lights and stuff. So, they dressed it up and it's probably nice and it's probably nice in the tent. But it was interesting that they were out there. So, of course, then protesters headed over to the blue buildings because, the buses go back and forth and bus people to the main venue and then will often bring them back. So they spent some time there in the parking lot. Let's see. Let's take a little look at that. And there are these great, I don't know if you'd call them aprons. Are these aprons? Tell me, would you guys call these aprons? Whatever they are, they're fabulous. But I think you put them on like an apron, like if you're going to be cooking. It's like this walking billboard, which I absolutely love. Okay. Thank you, Lori Plays. Great to see you. Got a clip of yours coming up too, Lori. All right, let's take a little look at this. I just love the creativity.
I'll make him wear it. He'll listen to me. Oh my God.
And if you look there, that's the one and only Aaron being arrested and put in the back of a police car back when he was in Los Angeles after being assaulted by Patrick Perry.
No, I'll make him wear that one. I'll make him.
I know he doesn't like Talman, so that's why I made that one.
This one's good. This one's good. Chris needs one.
There you go.
I still got the rest of my bag. What's that one say?
This one is Rapist Danny Masterson loves lost.
Chris, this one's for you.
You like that one? You like that apron?
He's got one with Tim Tallman on it.
You want that one? She's got a couple.
Yeah, I got a whole bunch.
Yeah, you can pick them out. Go ahead. You can get yourself a chef hat.
Here, can you hold this for 1 second, actually, so I could? Can you hold this for 1 second?
Oh yeah, she's got a couple of you.
Yeah.
I didn't make for anyone in particular.
This one.
Yeah,
The Tim Tallman ones. Yeah, it's gotta be.
Tim Tallman. Yeah, there's one in there for DOA.
Let's see what all the other ones.
I know you guys don't put a lot of development anymore. I met you back there a couple weeks ago. I don't remember.
Yeah.
They still go to La Poubelle.
I just went there one time.
Okay.
Remember everybody.
I love that. I love that. That is cool. That is neat. I love the creativity. I absolutely do. From chalk art to aprons that act as a walking billboard. I think it's all absolutely fabulous. I thought that was great of them to do. Yes, apron tech, Nancy. Oh, so true, so true. I love it. Isn't it brilliant? It's smart. I agree. I agree. They're so awesome. Are you gelling? Yes, absolutely. Merchtology. Oh, I love that. Yes, neuropsych. Everybody's pitching in. That is the beauty of it, right? That is the beauty of it. There's so much creativity. I agree with you, Sandy McKenna. The creativity people have never ceases to amaze me. Protest art is a beautiful thing, whether it's, things on that chalk on the sidewalk. We see music, mini streets, just DOA socks too. If you caught that clip on Nerd Report, there's just so many fun ways. And now these aprons, I love it. Yes, Stephanie, SPTV, we don't lie, we multiply. And there is a lot of that going on. It's so great. Love the creativity. Okay, we're going to hop back over to Chicago because Steph, the writer, put together a video. She did an interview with a Columbia student who was assaulted by Scientologists. You'll remember when the opening of the Chicago organization happened, Scientology violated their permits, what they were supposed to close, what they were not supposed to close. And here's the thing. Well, you know what? Let's just hear the kids tell the story himself. Take a look at this. This is crazy.
When I was up against the wall, they were grabbing me by the shirt and pushing me back and forth on the wall, like grabbing me by the shoulders and kind of slamming me like that.
The Scientology.
And just to set it up a little, he and some friends, they kicked over some cones and I think knocked over a water container, which they should not have been doing. Okay. But is this an appropriate response to that? You guys tell me, watch this and then tell me in the comments, tell me in the chat.
Yeah. No, it was a Scientologist, right? Yeah. The dude was all up in my face, screaming, being oh, you're such a disrespectful asshole. And I was I tried apologizing and I was man, I know that, I shouldn't have done that. But he was just oh, you're going to go to jail. You're going to get kicked out of school. I hope you know you fucked your life up. And then our RA, a couple of the RAs were outside telling telling the police officers and the security guards being hey, you cannot remove a student like that. Regardless of what they did, you cannot remove them like that. And honestly, there was so much commotion.
You can see the full video down below. Steph the writer did a great job with it. And let's see. Yep, it was in a dorm. They went into the dorm building to get him. Yeah, they did. They did. All right. I'm going to answer that question in just a bit. But yeah, it was in a dorm in Chicago. CBS, those Scientos are such reactionaries. They are extra in every way. And what happened to using your training routine, Scientology? Your TRs, your ability to be there comfortably and confront, your ability to confront and shatter suppression. Not rough a kid up, go into where he lives and rough him up. Yeah, he should not have been kicking over cones or messing with anything like that. But to go in there and do that and drag them out and have them booked and do that whole thing. Way to make friends. Way to introduce yourself to your neighbors, Scientology. I guess we shouldn't be surprised. This seems very on brand. Scientology is going to move into your area and potentially rough up your kids too. It's just crazy. It is. Seems like you guys all agree too. I know it's nutty. Let's take a look. Let's also in Chicago, let's look at a clip from Trashy V12 BMW. Trashy he's definitely the first live streamer that I found out about in Chicago. And I think he might have been the first one there. And then Shannon, Chicago Scientology Audit, Wendy C.D. Thayton Watch, and so many more then joined have been out there doing great work. But Trashy V12 BMW had a conversation with an elderly Scientologist, and we are going to take a look at that. Let's take a little look at this.
Yeah, here. You do auditing? Yeah, do you like perform the auditing? You write what? Oh, very nice. Okay. So you just send them out to people that you have? Okay. Have you ever seen any like children that are auditors? Like I've heard that children can become an auditor. Have you ever seen that yourself? Okay. All right. Thank you. Have a great day. It's okay, man. Like people can talk to us. It's all right. I know you probably don't want that information getting out, but seems like what it's like. I mean, that seems like what's going on. It seems like that's what's going on is you don't want information getting out. Oh, hey, I know him. I've seen him before. Have a good day.
I've seen that guy too.
Yeah. Do you do audit?
Interesting. So what do you guys think about that? She said she writes letters, which is commonly the job given to elderly people who are on staff, actually, is to write letters. They write letters. Doesn't matter if you bought a book 40 years ago. They will continue to write you a letter, even call, track you down. But yeah, it always makes me sad when I see elderly people like that. I think that, if you want to work and do things in your older years, that, that's great, stay busy and all that. But based on what we heard, the stories we've heard about elder abuse in Scientology, it always concerns me when I see them. Lavender Bridges, letters written to people who've not been in Scientology for a long time to try to get them back. Her statistics would be letters out. Grammatology. Stinky cat. Yeah, I'd like to see her retire and be free. Agreed completely. And Happy Days, that's my concern. They're trapped in a prison. That is exactly the concern. Can she leave if she wants? Does she have to show up day after day? Is she allowed to stay home? Just so many questions. But again, after what we learned from Mike Brown's mother, Rosemary, and her story, I don't trust anything when it comes to Scientology and elders and children in Scientology. Okay, we're going to go over to Florida because Lori Plays was out there during Pride Fest at the Tampa organization during Pride Fest. Let's take a little look.
Road right here, right beside them, is blocked off for Pride Fest. All right, let's sing to them once more. Ready? 2, 3, 4. Nora kissed a girl and she liked it, yeah. Now she's married to a lady. And Liz kissed a girl and she liked it, yeah. Now she's married to a lady. And Serge kissed a boy and he liked it, yeah. Now he's married to a man. 'Cause in Tampa, we choose what do we choose in Tampa? We choose love, not hate. We choose love, not...
Just love you, Lori. Especially the singing. Again, the creativity goes back to that. There is more than one way to have your voice heard and to protest Scientology. And I love seeing the different ways. I think you guys love it too. Wasn't that great? Absolutely. Yep, Kitty, I love it too. I could not agree more. Lori is amazing. She is legend. Absolutely fabulous. Also in Clearwater, Dustin Fountain Avenue. Did I get that right? Yep. Dustin Fountain Avenue. Out there protesting, doing some live streaming, giving us a look at Scientology in the evening there. And there's that bridge that goes across connecting the Fort Harrison Hotel to the Superpower building. Superpower. Supposedly, that's where Scientologists go to get their superpowers. In the superpower building, they deliver a variety of confidential services, but one of them I heard involves running around a flagpole. So yeah, running around a flagpole. Hey, Dustin, I'm glad you're here. This was so awesome live. I bet. So we're going to share your clip here. Let's take a look. It is a
And
beautiful building.
Scientology's tactics and status, and Scientology's tactics and status, and Scientology's tactics and status. End it today.
Just love it. It is a beautiful building. I will say that. That is something that, if Scientology could be as good, could be helped people with the same vigor and dedication that they use to purchase and renovate these buildings that primarily sit open, they'd be so much more better off. Instead of just putting lipstick in a pig, put some of that money back into the organization. Let's get the Sea Org members better food, get them some medical, take care of the staff, pay them a fair wage, allow them to have a life. The fact that they make as much money as they do, that Scientology collects so much in donations that they can spend, what was it in Clearwater, $99 million in cash to purchase different buildings and things around Clearwater. I just feel like you could do a lot more good with that money just within the organization, not to mention outside in the community. How many people could be helped with that nonprofit, that tax exempt status you got? You got that tax exempt status. You got that tax exempt status life, but what are you doing with it? Not helping other people. Who is it helping? Who is it serving? Not the public, not the people who live around there. They think it's creepy. It doesn't help local businesses. Yeah, Farron, 99 million was just the cash part. They spent more than that. It was over 100 million. It totally was. Absolutely was. Okay, let's go over to Denver, to another one of my favorites, Denver Scientology Audit. Jay over there bringing it, doing his thing, still showing up despite the fact that he was completely assaulted by not just a Scientologist, but a Sea organization member. And if you were not aware of that, that happened just a few days ago, go check out the videos. Go to Jay's channel, Denver Scientology Audit. I did a recap about it, but go watch the whole video because it was crazy. And then Jay joined us during the recap to talk about it as well. But he was back out there. Let's take a look.
How you doing today? Hey, did you see what fair game looks like over the other day on Wednesday? Y'all should be careful with y'all's tactics. They're firing against y'all quite heavily. That was a major flap y'all committed. 2 misdemeanors on a Sea Org member? To no avail, because I'm still here and I'm going to be here for a while. I might even go get a camper and set up out on the street. I'm going to be here before y'all get here every day and when y'all leave every day. You could thank Curtis Johnson.
And in goes the Scientologist. Just so interesting. I love how Jay does it. We have another clip of his actually that we're going to take a look at. This was in the evening. And Jay, I hope you mean it about setting up the camper outside there. That'd be so great. I would absolutely love that, of course, because I'm a big fan of camping, glamping, and RVs. So, yeah, I would love to see you do that. Keep me posted on that. Definitely want to talk about that. We need to go to Colorado. I've been to Colorado, but not really. I've never left the Denver airport. I've just stopped in there a couple times. So good reason to go. And yes, I see guys talking about it in the chat. There was an incident with a gentleman peeing on or near a truck, right? In the parking lot, which was odd. Petology, Nancy Drew's calling it. I don't have a clip of it though. But if somebody wants to send me one, Natalie at lifeafteroccult.com. Okay, let's take a look at this. This is the evening protest that Jay did and encountered some next level horn/alarm tech by Scientologists trying to drown him out because they're very afraid that they're going to hear about Xenu and get pneumonia and die, or hear things that might make them go, what? Wait a minute, what? I'm in a cult? No, am I in a cult? Then they'll start thinking, could I be in a cult? Why are so many people protesting? I don't know. Nope, don't think about it. Don't think about it. Put the blinders back on. He'll hear the L. Ron Hubbard voice. This will cost you lots of money to be reprogrammed. Just don't look in the first place. All right, let's take a look at a clip from his evening protesting.
Real things. They're real lies, and the more that you tell them,
Jay muted it, but it's still going on. Ellie, that's hilarious. Denver, you're in a cult. Is he really even on the phone? How do you stay on the phone with that alarm going? Like, what is the deal? Is he that desperate to not hear what he's saying?
it shows real good how you are at communicating. Look, man, do you know what's going on? Who are you?
Here comes the Karen.
Okay, go ahead and continue about your business, but you're not going to be curious about what's happening. Okay, or do you know about Xenu?
Leave it alone.
Do you know who Xenu is? Okay, well, go ahead and go look up Xenu. Do you know about your own reactive mind?
Leave it alone.
Do you know about your own reactive mind, ma'am? Okay, but aren't y'all supposed to be masters of communication? Why couldn't he communicate with me? Why did he have to put on his
I don't know who that person is.
Okay, are you a Scientologist? Oh, you're not a Scientologist? So look up growing up in Scientology. Look up life after a cult if you're so look up life after a cult if you're so curious. Do you know about Lisa McPherson? Look up Lisa McPherson and see how they treated her.
Just let her know what the deal is. I am not 100% convinced that she's not a Scientologist because she communicated in a way that's very Scientology-esque, I guess you would call it, with the repeating the statement. That's something you learn in Scientology. That's why you'll see often Scientologists will respond to a protester just saying the same thing over and over and over again, because that's what they're trained to do. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. And I don't know, you just walking down the street in Denver with no purse or nothing, just right by the Scientology building. Maybe. I could be totally wrong. She might not be a Scientologist, but I think she is. But she maybe not be. Okay, let's see. We're going to take a look at Pearlsnappy. You know, Austin Scientology made a very, very huge mistake when they tried to go at Pearlsnappy and have her arrested, threatened to be arrested and detained for using a bullhorn and doing things that she verified she was in fact able to do, because they don't want her in front of the Austin organization protesting Scientology. She brings a lot of attention to the abuses of Scientology by being out there, especially to the college students who are there. And if they do go into the Scientology building, it is pretty much just to troll them and get information to later share on the internet or with Pearlsnappy herself as soon as they walk outside. We have seen that time and time and time again. Well, I think my opinion is they're better off having Pearlsnappy outside doing what she's doing than inside, because she's going to do stuff like this, which we are just about to take a look at. She is continuing to shine a light on some of the scandals and abuses that have occurred in the Austin organization specifically, and she is calling it out even more. So, you asked for it, Scientology, you got it. Let's take a little peek, and it looks like Pearlsnappy. Oh, and it looks like Selfless Self is there with her too. So let's take a look.
Tracy and Sheila, this guy slept with her when she was 14 years old.
Did you hear that? This is something that we have heard her share before about this relationship, if you can even call it that, which I would not, because the girl was 14 years old when it happened, and kids cannot consent. Later on, it looks like she went on to have a relationship with him. But there's a whole backstory to Pearlsnappy shares the whole story. And yeah, link to the video, but listen to this.
14. She is the aunt to Corbin and Barton, and their kids are half siblings and cousins.
Half siblings and half cousins. I thought my whole grandpa dad story when I was in Scientology was odd, even for Scientology. But as I continue to learn, no, that kind of stuff is not limited, was not limited to my family.
What?
No,
What?
making a whole clan.
It's yeah, she is way too young. Well, she was way too young when she was 14, sleeping with him.
Everybody's super strong.
Yep. So she went and did a whole video where she looked up I think she found some stuff on social media, but she's spilling the beans, she is spilling the tea, she is talking about it. And so that's what I mean. Austin, you should have just like left her alone outside, because now you're going to get both. And this is where Scientology as a whole makes this mistake over and over and over again. You fuel the fire, you fan the flames. But I got to say, keep doing it though. Keep doing it, because you are your own worst enemy, Scientology, your own worst enemy. Stephen, no, was not incest. My mother was married to my stepdad. She divorced him and married his father, who was my grandpa for many years, who became my stepdad, but it was just easier to refer to him. I didn't call him grandpa dad, but when discussing the family tree, there's, my dad, stepdad, grandpa dad, stepdad. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. All right, so let's go over now. We are going to talk more about Mike Rinder and the Jon Atack interview. Thank you so much for all of your emails. Again, when you see something, say something. Natalie@lifeafteroccult.com. Send me a clip, send me a video, but with a timestamp of what it is that I'm looking at and your thoughts on it. That really helps a ton. And I got so much feedback about this interview. We did talk about it yesterday. But as I mentioned earlier, there's a kind of an aspect to it that people really had questions about that we are going to look a little bit more. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into that, but we're going to start with a video that Miriam Francis put out yesterday that's just a peek at something to come. I believe that's how she described it, a peek at something to come. And I have a little bit of that we are going to look at. And then we're going to dive more into this interview and some of the concerns that y'all emailed me. Take a look at this.
Called Knowledge Report, Mike Rinder on Scientology's use of PIs. This is on Mark Bunker's YouTube channel and with Mike Rinder.
That's a joke. That's just a way of keeping an arm's length distancing. I mean, he always says, "Oh, yeah, I'm working for Elliot Abelson." Elliot Abelson's a nobody. I hired Elliot Abelson. He doesn't have any authority to do anything, anywhere, anyhow, at any time with anybody. He's a name. He is a name that can be used and a buffer. If any
Okay, so he's a name that can be used and a buffer. A buffer. Okay, what are we going to show you next?
So this, again, it was just a couple of minutes, but it got into the idea. It seems that Miriam is working on a video that she's going to put together more information on that and welcome that. She and I are going to do another live stream again in the next week or so to dig more into that as well. We sat down for an interview the night before the Mike Rinder Jon Atack video came out. You can watch that full video on the channel. It was really great because if you don't know her story, you will get familiar with it. But she just continues to be a force and a voice for not just the children still in Scientology, but the children who grew up and are today adults, and some who still are struggling so much with what happened to them as children growing up in the Sea organization. So I look forward to seeing what that video is when it comes out. Now, We're going to take a look at a clip from the video with Mike Rinder and Jon Atack discussing what L. Ron Hubbard refers to as spectatorism. So listen to this, and then we are gonna chat more about it. I'm going to share with you the L. Ron Hubbard reference on it so you'll understand the tactic. Check it out.
Comment about a lot of trouble for making a comment about keyboard warriors. And, you know, I wrote about that on my blog. You know, when it's not that hard to whatever. I wrote about it on my blog, but there are people that there are two categories of people in this world of former Scientologists or activists or ex-Scientologists or anti-Scientologists, however you want to categorize it. There are those who do the work, and there are those who comment on the people doing the work.
And that is kind of what so many of you sent me over and over, which is good because, again, it tells me this is what you want to talk about. So that's kind of what we're going to dig into. But I want to play more of it so there's more of a context to it, because he does say, well, he clarifies that statement.
And a lot of, and that doesn't necessarily mean that the comments are bad. They
No,
can
they're
be
often very
incredibly
useful,
supportive and helpful,
and
but they're not
astute,
the, they're not the people that are doing the work. I got in a lot of trouble for making a comment about keyboard warriors, and
Hold on. So here is the thing. So there is an L. Ron Hubbard policy about this when he's saying that, you know, people who just watch, who are not really doing the work. And Sarah, I had the clip turned up all the way. I don't know why sometimes it's low on the other end there. Trini, yes, just keep digging that hole, Mike. Clearly, he is not actually reading any of the criticism and missing the whole point. I would agree with that. This is the point that's being missed. So listen to this. This is a clip from Aaron growing up in Scientology with Jenny Strom, I think it is. And if you guys did not catch the interview that he did with her on his channel, check it out. It's a good one. She is a firecracker. I like her. Yeah, but check this out.
The policy about spectating that gets used for recruiting people. Yeah, you remember the policy about spectators?
Being spectators. It's true. I forgot about that.
Tom Cruise mentioned this in his famous black turtleneck crazy video, where he's like, you're either on the field. We don't know. I've canceled spectatorism in my vicinity. You're either on the field or you're out of the stadium or something like that. And he was spectatorism is a dirty, filthy word in Scientology.
If you're a spectator, you get kind of classed as that. Like, you're kind of like trash. You're like up there with the degraded beings, basically.
So you kind of get the idea that in the world of Scientology, right, being a spectator is something, it's an undesirable. It is when you describe people who do that, they're out there with the degraded beings, right? Well, I want to read you the actual L. Ron Hubbard on it and what L. Ron Hubbard says about it. And big thanks, by the way, Blow Drill brought that up during the interview that Aaron was doing about spectatorism. And a few other ex-Scientologists too have called that out. So I'm going to read you this. I'm not going to pull it up because it's just in my notes. But this is by L. Ron Hubbard. This was written in 1969. And L. Ron Hubbard says, spectatorism is very great in our modern society because some people cannot conceive of causing anything. They just watch it. They don't do anything. They are not participants. They are spectators. You see this in magazines, articles about how odd this or that is. No understanding of it. It's just odd, and one watches it in a detached sort of way. Below this is somebody who doesn't even notice. Such a person has to come upscale just to be a spectator. L. Ron Hubbard, 1969. So there is, because that was one of the questions that I had gotten a ton, was, is there, what part of Scientology teaches or backs this up or sees people, viewers and whatnot, as spectators as being such a negative? And that would be what it is. Now, remember in 1969, there wasn't such thing as the internet. YouTube, activism taking to the internet, being able to get these messages out, it's a game changer. It's very different. But this is known today. This is known today. And I said this yesterday and I will say it again. Every single person who shows up and puts the time in to view any of this content, and then maybe likes the video or subscribes to a channel or finds another way, who supports maybe financially or otherwise, just chimes in. There's so many ways to contribute that makes a difference, that is the difference. And that is the missing point. Many of you commented that when he brought up keyboard warriors again, that, they were laughing about it and they kind of doubled down on it instead of really apologizing for it and kind of like understanding why that's so offensive today to the many, many people who donated to the Aftermath Foundation, who are here at their computers, on their devices, on their phones, helping and contributing and really helping to move the needle forward. And that is a difference that seems to be a point that's being missed by, I'll say, Mike Rinder, right? I wouldn't even label the whole Aftermath Foundation, but with Mike Rinder and kind of this sticky wicket point of not understanding how much help and power there is with all of these people never in Scientology who are here to help, who are here to hold space, who are here to spread this message, who are here to support, even financially. So how can they just be dismissed as keyboard warriors and spectators? Or even somebody like me, I comment on this stuff, I share it, I recap the news that people are talking about in regard to Scientology. But what I'm doing is spreading a message and raising awareness. I don't need to tell you guys this. This is how social media works. This is how you get a message out today. And everybody who contributes to that matters and are valued. At least here they are. They are. In the SPTV community, you're very valued. Very much so. And I think that comment, those two things of the keyboard warriors and then criticizing people who are watching and helping is just being spectators, not really getting the work done, can be offensive to so many people who have helped so much, including who have helped him financially. I heard from many of you who contributed to financially helping when he was sick. And I'm glad you did that, because it's still, it's a thing. It's a bummer that then he comes out and says that, but yeah, you are all valued and making a huge difference. I cannot tell you, I try to all the time, how much having so many of you never in Scientology communicating, sharing, commenting, emailing me, letting me know how you see things. It has helped my healing so much. It is not an easy thing all the time to come on here and talk about some of these topics in Scientology and the abuses that happened. You guys know it can be very triggering, but it needs to be done because there is an end to this. Get the word out, have it known about, have more and more people being outraged by what's happening, that they put pressure on their elected officials to look into Scientology's tax-exempt status, or at a minimum, get the word out so people no longer join Scientology and have children born into Scientology who then become this free slave labor force for the Sea organization. So let's see. Poe on the Go. He also had comment on this that I wanted to share and take a look at. So Poe on the Go is talking about burning bridges, Mike Rinder burning bridges. Let's take a little look.
Stroking going on in there. But again, one of the things that we look at when we're going into this is the fact that there's no real apology that's coming out of this. Okay. And that's something that really gets me, is the fact that here you have, I'm going to explain to you what happened. And I feel bad for Miriam and what has happened to her. And, at one point, Rinder actually admits to releasing that full LAPD document that came out, the report, and it included Miriam's personal information and her contact information, which you know, if you look at the definition of doxing, does that not qualify as doxing? And that's something that we have to, you know, that I want to address in a little bit here as well. But
Yeah, great video. Link down below to the whole video. Go ahead and give him some love and check it out, because he really summarized a few things very succinctly, and I think brought a very interesting perspective to the whole thing as well. And somebody else who did that is I just totally went blank. Marilyn Honig. I totally know Marilyn Honig, Coffee, Cults, and Crafts. And we're going to take a little look at what she had to say and what her response was to this interview with Mike Rinder and Jon Atack.
Has shown who he is numerous times. I have to agree with that, actually. And I have said publicly that I went back and forth with him with emails a few weeks ago, several times. I was sent many long emails. I've only shared a tiny snippet of them because I was called a liar by Mark Headley in Discord. There's other things I haven't spoken of. And if I'm challenged on them, I will share them. But I can tell you that I agree with that. That when someone shows you who they are, believe them. I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed with what I've discovered of someone's modus operandus, attitude, and yeah, I'm not impressed.
And that again is over at her channel. She does such an amazing job in bringing this. For one, she's like mama bear to so many. She's such a protector, and she has her own history with a cult and her own thing that she's going through and healing, and has joined in with this community, because this is the thing. I think a lot of you relate, especially people who've never been in Scientology, to this idea of cult, because you've been in maybe you're not formal organized cult. For some of you it was, but an abusive or traumatic situation as a child or as an adult. And the result is the same. We share that. And it's a lot of that pain and things that people are working through. It's great to come together and be able to talk about it and hear these stories and go, wow, I relate to that. I resonate with that. Maybe, I can also take a step forward in my own healing. It's just a beautiful thing. It's all about creating this community and so many people coming together who have different voices. And I appreciate Marilyn so much, so much. Okay, we're going to take a look at one more clip, which is Kelly Copter. Now, this is a video Kelly did a while ago, but I wanted to revisit this because it still stands today. Link down below to the full video. This is Kelly Copter, Scientology, The Aftermath, and Mike Rinder.
It's making people feel intimidated or scared to come forward or to communicate should not be a member of a board that needs to be able to deal with these people. One of the things Mike Rinder was responsible for was the bankruptcy and takeover of the Cult Awareness Network, a non-profit organization designed to provide deprogramming and assistance to cult survivors. Now he sits on the board that is supposed to help survivors of Scientology. I'm not surprised that there is distrust and fear coming from stakeholders and potential recipients. Survivors need a safe space to land when they leave Scientology. I think it's a fair argument to say that Mike Rinder cannot provide that due to his extensive history in tricking, suing, lying, and destroying people. I think
Now, she did Kelly just does amazing jobs with her video. She communicates it so well. Absolutely neuropsych, Kelly, speaker of truth. And in that video too, she does share, I believe, some of the good works and things that Mike Rinder has done, but it makes a point. And this is the point that I do believe is being missed, is what she just said there. When you need to create this safe space for people leaving Scientology, especially people leaving the Sea organization, and it can be very hard and difficult and triggering to have the an organization to help people, but the people you have to go to are people who are there and involved with it, which is why we need so many different organizations. Think about other causes, right? Whether it's human trafficking, child trafficking, even when you get into how many nonprofits are there to help survivors of cancer and all the different types of cancer. There's more than one. Why is there more than one? Because you need more than one, because people are different. People are going to gravitate to different organizations and ways of doing things and ways of fundraising in different ways. So there should be more than one, and there is. There's the Aftermath Foundation and the SPTV Foundation, which we're going to be hearing more about and learning more about as well. So let's see. Let's get in here and see what you guys are saying here. Tammy Anderson question: how do you decompress after doing the hard stories? Plus, you do amazing trying to cover all the channels. Thank you so much. Ooh, sometimes I cry in the shower. I'll be straight up. Sometimes that's just what it, after this. Most of the time not, though. Most of the time not. For me, it's the glamping and the RVing videos and working on that and planning my camping trips, spending time with my grandkids, just engaging in real, like my current life that is outside of Scientology. Even though I cover a lot, all I do is talk about Scientology. It is very healing for me to do so because I had to be silent for so long. Even when I didn't need to be silent anymore, I was, because I still had some growing to do. I still needed to experience life a bit more and figure out who I was, and then make that decision to come back. Because I guess that's the motto of the Sea organization. We come back. So here I am, Scientology. Laura, thank you so much for the super chat. Natalie News is the best, even when you're late. This truly is a safe place. Let's continue to keep it that way. You are my heart, Natalie. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. I feel that way about all of you, honestly. ES, do you know if the Scientology mission in Kirstie Alley's home is still around here in Wichita? I go by and it's quiet there. Ooh, I do not. If anybody knows about the Kirstie Alley mission in Wichita, let us know, because I don't know, actually. And a lot of things with these Scientology organizations, even when they are open, it looks like nothing's going on. Why? Because nothing is going on. That's why. Birdwatcher 36. Hey, Natalie, I work for Camping World. We should talk. Let's talk. Email me, natalie@lifeafteraccult.com. Maybe you can handle me on the upset that I have with Camping World. I'll tell you what happened, and maybe there's a resolution that can occur. Would be willing to have a conversation about it for sure. But regardless, reach out, because, I love to talk camping and glamping. And we are going to be doing some of that as soon as the weather permits here in Minnesota. My Tony and I are going to be getting out, and I'm going to take all of you with us. We're going to go where there's Wi-Fi, or I'll just do stuff from the phone, but we are going to figure that out. My long-term goal, like I've told some of you, is I would love to take some time and go visit different Scientology locations and protest and interview people and share their stories and spend some time on the road doing that and live stream from the road. We do have a camper, but you have to tow it. Ideally, a drivable one would be better, because I'll need to do a bunch of the driving, and I am going to get into learning how to trailer though this year. Mama's life. I always get so happy when I see you. We value you and all who speak out. All the work that it takes for you to prepare for your live show has not gone unnoticed. Mike Rinder is just wrong. Thank you so much. Yeah. I love your perspective too, Mama. Mama's Life is a channel here on YouTube, and she just tells it like it is. I love watching her. And I think didn't you do something recently too with Marilyn Honig as well? Just a great team up. Sassafras 0808. Did you see the clip I emailed with the 55-year-old Sea Org encounter on Friday? Yes, I shared it. If you go earlier in this video, I shared the clip and we talked all about it. So you got to go back and catch that on the replay. All right. Let's see. Thank you guys so much for all the kind words. I appreciate that. Here we go. Mama D. Hi. After watching the latest video of Mike Rinder, noted this. He tried to play the cancer card. Not cool. On the latest video, I'll have to look at that. Lisa E, love and healing here in the chats. Yeah, Laura felt it. I think we all do. I agree. And M71, thank you for the reminder, everybody. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell because I got some fun interviews coming up Monday at 4 p.m. Central Time. So that's tomorrow, if you're catching this on Sunday. I'm going to be interviewing Jenna Miscavige, 4 p.m. Central Time. So when you do hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you hopefully get a notification about it. John, you always crack me up. It sounds like Natalie has an interpolation about Camping World. I do, but I believe that it can be handled because I'm open to communicate about it and give Camping World an opportunity to make it right. I would love that opportunity, actually, truly would. And if we can fix that, I would be their biggest advocate. I would be. Because next to talking about Scientology, all I want to do is talk about glamping and camping and all of that. I want to bring those two worlds together. That is the plan. Yes. Is it Boudica? Glamping. Love it. Yeah, me too. I love it. Okay. I want to make sure I grab, let's see. I don't think anybody has an answer yet about the Kirstie Alley question. Hats off to you. Mike still insisted he was a founder and inspiration for the Aftermath Foundation. That's true. That one caught me a little bit like, what? Like I was totally watching it and like, what? Wait, what? And you just go, huh? But I get what he's saying. And you know, I'm sure people are going to have their opinion and might have a different point of view on how it got started and all that. And he is welcome to his point of view and reality on what that is. People just might not agree with that. Pause for Andrea. Really looking forward to your interview with Jenna Miscavige. Me too. Especially after, in fact, she did an interview with Aaron at Growing Up in Scientology, and they went through, she did a live stream with him, and they went through her like committee of evidence papers from when she was leaving the SEA organization in Scientology. Ooh, I have so many questions. It sounded absolutely insane. No surprise there. But what she had to do to get away and the way that she was even held in rooms at times, there was some biting. Let's say that if you didn't see it, there was some biting, and rightfully so. I support the biting that she did because she had to get away to do it. Gabriel Badwolf, thank you so much for that. You really embody the spirit of SPTV Ohana with your channel. Thanks for that. Thank you. I'm telling you, it's you guys, really. It's just, I'm the one with the microphone, but you guys show up every day and we talk about this and we share in it together. And you're fully helping to create and make the channel what it is. And one of my desires in growing the channel and wanting to make it larger is there's so many interviews that I want to do with other creators on YouTube. But for many of them, you got to have a bigger channel to kind of for them to communicate and want to come on your channel. At least that's what I'm learning. Not all, but some. And I think it would really help create a larger impact when we can reach those larger voices and channel that. But I'm glad you guys like the recap, and I'm glad that you like camping too. I'm seeing that as well. This is something that I know we will continue to discuss and talk about. So keep sending me those links and emails, Natalie@lifeafteroccult.com, because this is definitely more that we are going to discuss. Michael says, let's put this Mike Rinder BS behind us. Now we see him for what he is. We got a new foundation to promote and focus on. I do agree, Michael, but I think that we can do both. My only hesitation in never bringing it up again, for one, I always tell you guys, we're going to talk about what has the internet buzzing. So when I get a ton, when my inbox is flooded with clips and information about a particular topic, we're going to talk about that. And each time someone from the Aftermath Foundation comments in a negative way or does a video like that interview, I am flooded for days with emails about it. So that is what I will talk about. If it happens and nobody emails and brings it up, I am happy to move beyond it and focus on the new foundation. But I believe that we can do all of it. We can focus on the new foundation, build it up. And if we need to have conversations about this, that we have it. I think it's important. One, because there's always new people coming to the channel. Secondly, for the survivors. It's not as easy always for them to just, well, let's just walk away from that. Let's put it behind us. No, that's what we were told too in Scientology. It's behind you. It's in the past. Why are you giving it any attention? Just move forward. It never gave us an opportunity to process it or to really speak our mind and say our piece about it. And sometimes that's very uncomfortable to do when you have disagreement and you have upsets and all of that. It is uncomfortable, but I believe it's a necessary part of healing. And as long as it's something that people feel a strong desire to talk about, we will talk about it each time that it happens until we get to the point where I'm not hearing from you guys about it, because you dictate so much about what we talk about on this channel. But I appreciate the comment and I understand where you're coming from on it. It would be a beautiful thing if it was just that simple. But I just don't think that it is. And I want to be able to, all of us, continue to create this safe space, regardless of what how you think or believe or feel, right? I'm not an enemy of the Aftermath Foundation. I support the work that they're doing. I support the work that anyone's doing if they show up to expose and lend their voice to expose Scientology. Doesn't mean that, we all get along or I agree with everything that you're doing, but I support that work because that's why I'm here. I'm here to raise awareness about Scientology and end Scientology and its abuses. And I no longer believe that the abuses will end if Scientology is allowed to go on. I don't think reform can happen. Reform would have already happened. And now we're talking about grandchildren of people who are being abused by Scientology and taken advantage of, and families being destroyed. So it just hasn't happened. Casey Cat, thank you so much for that. Oh, I love your little squirrel emoji. I love that. Hit that like button, please. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's see. What did I grab? I love that too. SPTV Ohana. I might need to put that on some merch. Oh, speaking of, I am going to do more merch today with the never end definition. For those that don't know, if you go to the channel and you click on where there's a link, there'll be a drop down to the merch store, or you can go to the description of this video and click on it. We've got these really fun sweatshirts and tees where it defines never in. Someone never in Scientology, but all in on ending the cult. And it's got the SPTV logo on it. I think it's really fun. I want to wear it, even though I'm not a never in. Ooh, I should do it in kid sizes and get it made for my grandkids. Wonder if I can get that done before Easter. That would be great. All right. Well, thank you guys. I think I got most of the questions here. Cat Lady 2020, if you could interview anybody you would want to interview regardless of their following. Who? Oh my gosh, there's so many. I want to talk to, I always forget her first name, but the one who speaks on things from a law perspective, Emily Baker. I would love to chat with JD DeLay about the whole, not even just a Danny Masterson perspective. I think there's something interesting about prison culture and the culture in the Sea organization. And I would love to talk to somebody like that to do a little bit of a comparison. Because a lot of what he says and talks about, I'm like, oh my gosh, that just, it resonates in terms of, not all of it, of course, but my Sea Org experience. So just to name a few. And by the way, when my Tony and I are in Clearwater next month, I'm going to sit down with Aaron and be able to do an interview in his new studio that he's got set up. I'm super excited about that. That's right, Emily Baker. It was Emily Baker. And thank you, my Tony, for the rah-rah and getting people to hit that like button and subscribe button as well. All right, so remember, tomorrow, Jenna Miscavige is going to be joining us at 4 p.m. Central Time. I will get out some notifications for that. Let's see. So remember, if you see something, say something. Natalie at lifeafteroccult.com. When you send me a link to a video, please do include a timestamp and tell me what I'm looking for there. Would really appreciate it. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here, for all your support and everything that you're doing to help get this message out about Scientology being a human trafficking cult that needs to be shut down. Enjoy the day. And most of all, you guys get out there and have the most amazing cult-free day.